Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Oh boy, here I go, taking a little bit of a risk here. What's going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I'm here for another topic video on something I do want to I have given my opinion on this in a couple recent reviews. But I felt like I would give it like its own separate video and maybe try to go a little more in depth on it. Just giving my honest opinion. And I say honest opinion because I feel like there's been some videos where I have spoken like negative about something or whatnot, and I got backlash for it. Of course, as a lot of us YouTubers have. Like the last video that I almost deleted because I had to delete a lot of comments because a lot of people were saying a lot of rude things to me, was when I did my video stating why I was glad I didn't watch AEW Dynasty. By far, I would say, based off of the results and things I've read, it's probably AEW's weakest pay-per-view. But we're not here to talk about AEW. We're here to talk about the current 17-time Undisputed WWE Champion, John Cena, and the analysis that he's been getting from fans recently about his current heel run for his retirement tour. Was it a mistake to turn him heel for his last run? Would it have been better for him to be a babyface for this entire run? Well, I'm here to break all that down. And let me just first get this part off my chest. Let me just first state, do I think it was a mistake or was it not a mistake to turn John Cena heel? And my honest answer, it was not a mistake. I still feel like this was the best way to tell John Cena's last chapter of his career is by turning him heel. And the reason why is because they already had something set up in place. This whole story about how he hasn't won a match in so long. And, obviously, recent reports have said the reason why he is retiring is because his body is breaking down on him. And the past, few years when he has made appearances, it has shown. Cena is not the guy he was 10, 15 years ago. So, obviously, realistically, he's not going to be able to put on the matches he used to be able to. He's not going to be able to wrestle the same style. So he has to make some sort of adjustments without it making it look like honestly, I'll put it this way. If John Cena would have been just a nostalgia act as a babyface for his last run, his last handful of matches would have probably been like what it was when Kurt Angle was getting ready to retire. I'm sorry, I just thought the way they handled Kurt Angle's last run in the company was horrible. And he was not in the best shape. He looked so old. People had to really reduce themselves, in my opinion, to make him get some reasonable victories without making the other look too weak. Because he was not in good shape. I still remember when I saw his last match at WrestleMania 35, he did that moonsault, and I'm like, oh shit! I was so scared when he was halfway in the air. But that's what it is. John Cena. So, like I said, the thing they had set up for him was the fact that he had won a match in he hadn't won a singles match since 2018. And maybe they could have done this thing where, he won the Royal Rumble, and basically that's like him like trying to win the lottery one last time before going on to wrestle. Sorry, I thought there was something underneath my desk. Going on to WrestleMania and getting one last shot to win the championship and pulling off the upset victory. Like, maybe they could have done that. But if that would have happened, like maybe if WrestleMania 41 was for sure going to be his very last match, maybe that would have worked. But he has an entire year. He has, I think today, as of today, 23 dates left, I think, appearances. He has an entire year, and I believe his last match is going to be at December's edition of Saturday Night's Main Event, from what I'm hearing. I think that's going to be his last match, which I'm still going to say should be an I Quit match. If you want to really humble Cena, have him say I quit to finish off his career, and he can turn face that night in the process of passing it over, which will most likely be Cody Rhodes. Although I've mentioned another idea that I think I will pitch again at the end of this video. So, like I said, like, would we really been able to get through the whole year with just John Cena being a babyface nostalgia act? It would have gotten boring so quickly. Him turning heel, and basically this story of, like, desperation, where he knows his time is running up. He only has so much time left, so he's trying to hold on to get whatever last second glory he can. And of course, by taking out his frustrations and his anger on the fans for how they've treated him for the past 25 years, I think makes the most sense. Now, the one mistake I will acknowledge is, I'm going to say this now, they shouldn't have gotten The Rock involved. If The Rock had no intention of continuing to be a part of this storyline involving John Cena, then he should not have been involved. And if I'm being honest, I would have rather them had them just wait till WrestleMania to do the heel turn. Make it like Rock and Austin from 2017. Have him so desperately want to win that match that he stoops to low levels on the grandest stage of them all to win that 17th title. Like I said, the way it was done at Elimination Chamber was awesome, but just the fact that The Rock thought that his work was done after that, no. And like I said, it's kind of led me where it's like, if it involves The Rock, I'm back to where I'm not going to believe it till I see it. So that's the one mistake I would say with this heel turn, was getting The Rock involved, especially since there was no long-term plan for him to be afterwards. I mean, he still involved something with Cody, but it sounds like he's not going to be there at all to help with Cena. But with that being said, this is my opinion also as why I think fans are not happy with it. Why fans think this run is a flop. And I have a very simple answer. And again, I'm not a know-it-all. This is just my opinion. I think the reason why fans are disappointed with this heel run, besides the fact, of course, that, we have some people who have been behind Cena from the very beginning, have never, turned their back on him, always wanted him to be, the big superhero babyface. But I think as far as, people who wanted John Cena to turn heel, but they're not happy with his current heel run, I think the reason why they're disappointed is because they wanted the John Cena heel character we were supposed to get back in 2012. Yes, back in 2012 was probably the closest WWE came to turn John Cena heel, when he was feuding with The Rock. And that would have been, honestly, the perfect time to do it. He had new gear, he had a new theme song picked out, and it was all set to go, but then I think they either got cold feet, or I also heard there was some sort of big Kmart deal they had, I guess, with the company that, I guess if they would have turned him heel, it would have flopped. So, even though it would have made WWE a lot of money sending John Cena to the dark side, they didn't go through with it. Again, as I said before, John Cena is now 48 years old. Like back then he was 35. 35-year-old heel John Cena is different than 48-year-old heel John Cena. Again, his body's broken down. He's watered out the AA like 50 million times. Like that finishing maneuver is like useless because so many people have kicked out of it so many times. Even freaking Jinder Mahal had kicked out of an AA. Just saying. But with him and his age and how his body is, if he was to be a heel, you had to adapt to it. So, like, honestly, if the story is like, you know, he's basically making everything that fans love to be hated now, you know, why would he change his theme music? Why would he change, you know, his look? I mean, okay, yes, he changed his entrance Tron. It's no longer colorful. It's just black and white, bold Arial text saying John Cena with the theme song that he still had because people said, you know, they booed it. And that, well, you know what? I ain't changing it. I'm not giving you guys what you want. Him giving the fans what they want as a heel is going against like everything that his current character stands for. He's being an old school heel. He's doing this thing where, you know, well, I'm taking what's rightfully mine because I am the last real champion. And once I finish up, I'm going home with this title. You know, I'm not having someone else, you know, tarnish my legacy and take this off of me. You know, I'm punishing you guys for all the, you know, the hate and abuse you've given me for 25 years. You know, I mean, realistically, you would think some of that is for real Cena being frustrated as well. But again, it all makes sense. Like, this old school method, I feel like, is the best way for John Cena to tell that final chapter of his story. And for him to retire with. Like I said, I like that, you know, like especially at Backlash, they were teasing Cena, even in his match against R-Truth, teasing that that maybe he has some sort of regret, but at the same time, he knows he's already made his bed, and he's already, you know, turned himself into the monster. There's no turning back now. That's why I said you could continue playing with that, like, throughout the rest of the year, and have his final match at Saturday Night's Main Event be an I Quit match where the only time in his career he says I quit is when his time is up. And him saying I quit is him saying my time is up and passing on the belt. Most likely to Cody Rhodes, but I had mentioned recently that there is like another person I think could be the person to take out to end John Cena's career. And that is Jey Uso. Again, you want to talk about being able to put more legs to a storyline. That simple promo he had at Saturday Night's Main Event recently, where his goal is to ruin professional wrestling. Get his revenge, again, on how people have treated him over the 25 years. Going, not just him taking a championship, walking away, but like ruining something like having Jey Uso lose his championship to a YouTuber and whatnot. And that's because of John Cena. Honestly, it gives more legs to his story. And I can't believe I'm saying this. It gives me a reason to say, okay, there's a way you can put the belt on Logan Paul. He has like John Cena as like a support to, you know, make his reign, you know, have like some meaning behind it. Because if they would have had just Jay just lose to Logan at Saturday Night's Main Event, I would have been pissed. Like I said, I would rather see Jay get a handful of victories still to establish himself as a legitimate champion before he drops the title. I thought to Seth Rollins, but you can hold off on that for a bit if Seth Rollins is winning Money in the Bank next Saturday. And you can have Logan Paul be the one to dethrone Jey Uso. And Jey Uso goes after John Cena for revenge. And because like I said, they've kind of teased that match since they were the final two at Rumble this year. I originally said, well, what if they have, you know, John Cena and Jey Uso both still be champions by Crown Jewel, and they fight for the Crown Jewel Championship? Like, I would have accepted that as a Crown Jewel Championship match. But I also firmly believe Jey Uso's not holding that world title past SummerSlam. So if they really want to go long term, like I said, In reality, it's most likely going to be Cody Rhodes. But just saying, if John Cena is the reason why Jey Uso drops the title, and especially if he drops the Logan Paul, because that's the way he's trying to ruin wrestling. Why would John Cena help an actual wrestler like Seth Rollins win the championship? Although, again, that would have been unique, because like I said, I was the one who predicted Seth Rollins to cost Cody the title at WrestleMania after he turned heel and formed his allegiance to Paul Heyman. But of course that didn't happen. Could that still maybe happen sometime this year? Maybe he could form a thing with Cena, who knows? But I'm pretty sure that's not happening at this point. But Jey could get his comeuppance on Cena, because Cena ruined wrestling by taking his championship away and putting it on a YouTuber and someone who nobody likes, but who can actually wrestle than 90% of the roster. And because that could give a reason for Logan Paul to get the belt. And then Jey Uso can dethrone John Cena to get his revenge. And heck, even have Seth Rollins cash in on Jey that night. And you want to put the belt on Seth? Do it then. So just a few ideas to float around it. But yeah, I just wanted to mention, like I said, I first personally think John Cena is doing the right thing, ending his last reign as a heel. It gives legs to a story, and it makes his story more interesting, and it's not boring. Like I said, he's not going to put on a 5-star wrestling match. He's going to tell the simple story of, like, I'm going to ruin wrestling, and me putting on bad matches, but still winning is what I'm going to do. So like I said, I get it, people wanted the 2012 heel John Cena we're supposed to get. I get that. I understand. But like I said, this is the best we're going to get from John Cena at 48 years old. Like, 35-year-old John Cena could have pulled something off even bigger. 48-year-old John Cena that is still, doing stuff with Hollywood and whatnot right now, can't do that. But, again, just my opinion. Let's have a civil conversation. What's your opinion? What is your honest opinion about John Cena's heel run so far in 2025 for his retirement tour? Do you think, is your disappointment a result from the fact that he's not the heel we would have probably got in 2012? Or do you guys think that John Cena is just a straight up babyface, he should have turned heel in the first place? Honest opinions, though, but again, be civil. No need to insult people for their opinions. I'm not here to insult anybody for their opinions either. Like I said, I don't care what your opinion is, just don't insult me about mine. But leave your guys' thoughts, get it down in the comments section below. Slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at The Club with the Man 93, and also on TikTok and Instagram at The Club with the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later and have a great rest of your night. And do not forget as well, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!